Heimdallr is a heavy-hitting hunter with high damaging auto attacks, a deployable ward, a teleport, and a bunch of other nonsense that just gives you a huge leg up on your opponents. But these abilities mean nothing if you don't know how to build Heimdallr. Luckily for you, I'm going to give you 2 viable building paths and strategies in this video. So let's knock these builds out of the park first, then it'll be time for the strategies and tips and tricks. The first build I recommend for Heimdallr is the typical full penetration hunter build that I have covered in the past. This consists of Transcendence, Ninja Tabby, Aussie, Executioner, Kinsai, and Titan's Bane. This build allows you to play just like any other hunter would, but that's going to come in tips and tricks. The second build you can go into as Heimdallr is full ability damage. This build works really well if you're going to be able to abuse your ability's larger range. So this build consists of Transcendence, Warrior Tabby, Jotun's Wrath, Brawler's Beatstick, Titan's Bane, and Heartseeker. So now that we have the builds out of the way, you are still going to struggle unless you play Heimdallr in certain ways that help accent your build path. Each playstyle is directly linked to one of the builds I've talked about, but you will be able to use all of these tips at some point in your matches, depending if you fall behind, get ahead, or if you just want to mess around with it. So my first general tip for all Heimdallr players is to not use the Bifrost teleport to get back to lane. I know it's tempting, but it's also your only escape tool, and having it on a 200+ second cooldown is not going to benefit you, and it's going to make you an easy gank target to just collapse on. So now my tips for players that are building into full ability damage. My first and primary tip is that your build sucks if you do not use the range on your abilities properly. Your first and second ability both can deal their damage from outside of the auto attack range. If you need to. There's no if. You need to abuse this fact if you want to successfully trade in fights. If you step in auto attack range, you are going to lose every single trade. Abuse the fact that you can hit them with your abilities while remaining outside of their range. My final tip for ability-based Heim players is to play around your cooldowns. Your autos are coming out slow already, and yes, they do hit like a truck, but the focus of this build is on abilities. So don't get up into the enemy and try to land super powerful autos. Just play around your cooldowns. So now for the full penetration regular build, which is the way I recommend to play Heimdallr. This build style, you want to look to brawl with your auto attacks, kind of vice versa to what you did before. The important thing to note here is that Kinsai and Executioner passives are going to apply on both the main and splash area of effect of the auto attacks. The other important thing to remember in this build path is to use your abilities defensively. Your second ability makes you knock up immune and can knock up anyone that gets too close to you. Your first ability is just a giant ward that can deal some damage, and your ultimate is great for getting someone like the jungler off of you when they dive on top of you, which allows you to press your attack elsewhere. Those are my Heimdallr tips and tricks. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Otherwise, if you want to continue to learn how to both play and build in Smite, I want you to click on that video on your screen right now, and I'm going to see you there.